everybody, this is Jeff O'Connor and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're talking about my very favorite Danish oil. And tried and true Danish oil has been my favorite for probably a good 3 years now. And I'm going to tell you why today. And it's so much my favorite, I got a t-shirt on for him today. So Hans is here with me. You can see he's got his cheesecloth there ready to go for some finishing, but I think I'm going to take over now, Hans. Appreciate it, sir. So, what makes a Danish oil good for my use? Well, Danish oils are pretty cool because they are known to kind of go deep in the wood, highlight the grain, and really kind of deepen the color of the wood as well. However, most of them are not food safe. And that's why I love this tried and true so much, because not only does it get in there and highlight that color and deepen it and really bring out the grain in the wood, but it's also food safe. So what I've got here today is a tapered rolling pin that I've made out of black walnut. And I'm going to show you how I apply this and the steps I take throughout the process to get a really nice satin luster on this that's food grade and easily recharge if the wood starts to get dull over time. So a couple things I use. One is cheesecloth. So I buy my cheesecloth on Amazon, and you can really, I think a lot of arts and crafts places have it too. But I take cheesecloth and just kind of make it and take a little ball so it can soak in the Danish oil real well. Give this a little stir here. Now what's interesting about this Danish oil is some of the ones in the market, you really saturate the wood with the Danish oil. This is different. This actually lasts a really long time, and they want you to apply it sparingly onto the wood. So I work it into the grain, and you can see how beautiful that deep color of that black walnut's coming out. So we're going to work it all the way through the grain. You can see I'm not saturating. It's not dripping down from the wood the way some Danish oils say, you know, oversaturate, let it soak like that. This is really just working it in the wood really nice with not too much runoff. And this cheesecloth does a nice job of holding the liquid in there. And black walnut is one of the woods I really, really love the look of when it has a nice oil coating on it. So now I've applied an even thin coat over the rolling pin. Now I'm just going to touch up the edges. A little bit extra on there because remember the cutoffs, the end grain from the wood is kind of like a straw. So it's going to soak it in pretty quick there. So just a little bit more on those. Okay, so now I've got one thin, nice, even coat. And I'm going to leave this on for about 5 minutes. And after it's done, we're going to buff it till it's dry to the touch, and I'll talk about what we do next. See you soon. Okay, so it's been 5 minutes. Now what we're going to do is take the rolling pin and we're going to wipe it dry. It's already pretty dry from soaking in all the oil. Get a good dry here. Again, I like these shop towels to soak in the finish. They work great. Cheap. And they absorb really well. So that's it. It's now dry to the touch. So I'm going to leave that here, and that's going to dry now for 8 hours. It's going to cure, and then I'm going to come back and we'll show you what we do next. Welcome back to the shop. Now we have our rolling pin here. In the last clip, we took this rolling pin, we applied one coat of Danish oil on it. We waited 5 minutes, we wiped it dry with a paper towel, and we let that sit for 8 hours. What you guys didn't see is I came back 8 hours later and I burnished it with steel wool, and I reapplied a second coat of Danish oil and then let that sit for another 8 hours. So it's been 16 hours since our last coat. We're ready now for the stage 3, which is the final stage I'm going to do on this rolling pin, which is adding the original finish from tried and true. Now before I do that, I'm going to do the same process I did in between the other two coats, which is to burnish it. Now I use an ultra fine steel wool for this. I think this one from Liberon is the best in my point of view. The reason for that is you don't get a lot of stray pieces of steel wool like you do with your big box steel wools. So I'm going to burnish this all the way down, adding good pressure on there. And the more you burnish the wood, it actually turns out nicer and nicer each time. Get that back on the pad there. So as you can see, if you've used steel wool before, you know how much steel wool you get collecting on your bench from using it. This is a great steel wool to use. Now, once I get done, I just take it and I wipe it a little bit just to make sure I don't have any strays on there that may have come off. And we are now ready for the final stage. So we're going to be putting on Tried and True's original finish. Now the difference is this has a beeswax in it. So they're both polymerized linseed oils. But if you look at the difference in the viscosity here, this is the Danish oil and this is the original finish. So you can see it's much thicker with the beeswax in there. What that's going to do is give us a really nice satin luster when we're done with the project. So I'm going to stir this up here. And again, just like we did with our Danish oil, we're going to use a little ball of cheesecloth. Now we are using very, very little of this product on here, okay? And as I come across, a little goes a long way. And I'm pressing pretty good on here and really trying to work it into the wood nicely. And when I talk to Tried and True about their product line, you know, one of the things they tell me is that they get so many complaints from people about how long their finish takes to cure. And the reason it takes so long is because they're putting way too much on. So you want very, very little. In fact, as you apply it, you want to feel like you're not really putting enough on. And if you have that feeling, you're definitely doing it right. You can always build coats if you want to. It's always best just to stay very, very light-handed with this product in particular. But you really get a beautiful finish from it in the end. Just about done there. And again, that cheesecloth really holds the product in nicely as well. I'm gonna add just a little bit on the ends here. Okay. All right, so now we've got 2 coats of Danish oil, 1 coat of the original finish. This now is going to sit for 1 hour, and then we'll see you again. Okay, 1 hour has passed, and now we're getting ready to take our rolling pin here, and we're going to wipe it dry just like we did the last time. A couple clean cloths here. Everybody looked pretty dry. We're just going to make sure we got any extra finish off of there. Flip this over a little bit. All right. And this is ready. Now this is going to sit and cure for 24 hours, and then we'll be back and we'll do some final burnishing on it with a clean cloth for a beautiful luster. See that? Okay, we are back, and 24 hours has passed. The French rolling pin now is dry. We have applied 2 coats of the Danish oil, 1 coat of the original finish, and now our final step here is just to take a clean cloth, lint-free, and just give this a good buff. Remember, the beeswax is in the original finish, so it helps get a nice satin coat there. Now this is where I like to stop with the French rolling pins. A nice satin luster, just a beautiful color here. Really enhance the grain. Very pretty. But if you want to go beyond this, you can always bring it to a buffing wheel with some carnauba wax as well, and still bring that shine up even more if you like it. But I really like a nice satin sheen, deep color. So this is ready to go. Very easy, awesome finish that deepens the color and gives you a food safe capability. So if you have not tried the Tried and True product line, please give it a shot. You will not be disappointed. In the meantime, Hans is over here reminding me that this wood ain't gonna work itself. So I'm gonna get rolling. I wanna thank you guys for joining me again. I'm Jeff O'Connor, and we'll see you next time.